Democracy is a system which citizens have the authority to elect or decide on a government legislation in a democratic society. People elect representatives to negotiate and decide legislation in parliamentary or presidential democracies. They have their own right to choose what they want. Democracy is a distinct from a system of governance which single person have the authority to elect the representative. For example, Malaysia issues a democracy in their system. It is a parliamentary democracy with a constitutional monarch and a paramount king. There are 13 states that govern by Westminster Parliamentary, which is a representative democracy. Democracy is all for people, which means that people can make a decision on how the society was conducted. There are five reasons of democracy, such as right to vote, correct own mistakes, decision-making process, legitimacy, and dignity of the citizens.
Democracy. What else could have come to our mind other than voting? Voting is the essential process in a democracy system. It means that the people have the option to vote on any political party or candidates to lead the nation. It is very crucial for us to fulfill our responsibility to vote for the future of our country. Malaysia is one of the countries that practices democracy since a long time ago. It is the best choice that the previous leaders have decided on since we are a multi-racial country. So, what it has to do with the rights of vote? Of course, both of them link to each other. It is because multiracial in a country could have led to protests and fights among them if the government is not appointed in a fair way. With the existence of the right of vote, everyone that is eligible according to the Malaysian constitution, which are a Malaysian that is age 21 years old and above, resident in the constituency he wishes to register, and not barred or disqualified from voting for legal reasons, can register themselves to vote for the upcoming or next general election. The rights to vote will help the citizens to choose their leaders fairly, which will lead to stability in many aspects and bring peace and harmony to the country. Each votes are counted without knowing their background and unknown to ensure that their choice remain private to themselves only. As I have just said just now, rights to vote is essential to the democracy, but how? The highest vote count will automatically make the political party wins an election, so that is why every vote matters. The slightest difference could lead to the changes in voting decision. This has happened in the 14th general election in Malaysia on 2018, when in Kuala Besut, Tengku Zaihan Cikgu Abdul Rahman from Barisan Nasional (BN) has won 8,126 votes in the area with only a majority of 143 votes compared to Azbi Saleh from Parti Islam Se-Malaysia PAS under the Gagasan Sejahtera GS coalition. Even the gap is quite small, but the highest one with majority still win it. So, as a Malaysian, please fulfill your responsibility to the country in order to create a better Malaysia.
Mistakes cannot be hidden for a lengthy period of time. There is always a place for public debate on such errors, and there is always the possibility of correction. Either the ruler's choice must be modified or the ruler can be replaced. As a result, democracy permits us to fix our own errors. For instance, from December 1999 to March 2004, The provinces of Terengganu around then was administered by the resistance, that is the Malaysian Islamic Gathering PAS. That year, unfailing moves were made against small kids in the kindergarten who needed to convey tables and seats when they were removed by the Individual Shura Board of Trustees JSR. After PAS assumed control over the state government in 1999, this occasion is as yet a bad dream for a large portion of individuals of the state. Albeit the operation spanned just about 19 years prior, that is after PAS won the 10th general political election, the quietness as though retribution from the gathering's top authority actually frequents the personalities of citizens to keep on giving in order to pass on January election 14. Yet, in the last 14 January election, PAS got back to control the Terengganu state government. Numerous progressions have occurred, contrast with the past method of administering. The new PAS government that assumed control over its organization has satisfied a portion of the underlying guarantees in the last general election decision statement. Absence of wading into controversy, occupied with working for individuals is the overall perspective on the Terengganu state government, drove by PAS since May 2018.
For accountable and legitimate government. The country chose a democratic system because it offers accountable and legitimate government. This is due to the fact that the democratic system prioritizes the view of people over the view of ministers. It allows the people to vote on who they want to lead the government. The designated rules must devote their whole attention to their duties and guarantee that their rule is lawful from all perspectives. There are a number of essential bodies that ensure that obligations are carried out as efficiently as possible. The national auditor is the first. The national auditor job is to maintain the country financial system and record, as well as the truly review economic procedure and the efficacy of a program to be implemented. Within 7 months, the auditor must report the government financial statement to the Attorney General. If the situation is not resolved, the Attorney General has the option to fill in a report with the YDPA. The auditing is critical in order to prevent money or government property from being misappropriated. The second is the role of the Federation's leader. The YDPA is in charge of the Federation. The YDPA is well known for playing a critical part in the national system. The head of state lead of or serve as a pillar of power for the three branches of government: legislature, executive, and judiciary. The president of state also has the power to dissolve parliament. That means the Dewan Rakyat, for the sole purpose of holding a new general election. If any minister fails to carry out his responsibilities correctly, Parliament will be dissolved. The doctrine of the fusion of power, which applies to the three primary bodies of government, comes next. Members of the executive body are appointed from the legislature, but their powers and functions are permanent. This is known as a merging of power. Because the cabinet is accountable to Parliament, all of the cabinet's activities, programs, and policy must be reported to Parliament. This tries to establish the concept of check and balance in the country's government. The term ombudsman refers to a private problem into all public complaints against government entities. The ombudsman's mission is to examine and publish any government agency that abuses its power or fails to carry out its responsibilities in accordance with set policies. Based on democracy and certain tradition, the concept of an ombudsman has been evolved because of culture variation and community life pattern. This is the case. An individual or a governing body can hold the position of ombudsman. The public can file complaints for free and easily through a straightforward method, and the government will respond as needed, whether by repairing, replacing, or refunding money. It also considers the view of specialists as well as individuals with experience in resolving conflict.
Next, make a decision. In democracy, we must be carefully and analyze before make a decision. Basically, when there are an issue, it need to make a discussion and public hearings before conclude the decision, because make a decision in democratic is happen in a group chats or meetings. It is procedure flaw as possible, which judiciary can reject if not suitable for make a decision. Democracy increase the standard of decision making, which it is happen when to make any decisions. The majority rule demonstrates that diverse persons and groups may do constitute a majority in any decision or election. The individuals that made up the majority opted to rule the government. Democracy is justifiable if it does not outperform alternative decision making. For make the best decision, they will have an argument between members. It is not easy to get the best result, but decision making in democracy was fair, where members that join the discussion will clearly know the process from begin to finish. When the discussion starts, members can bring out some ideas to present and choose the best idea for the best decision. The decision will take a long time if the issue is a critical issue and need to do more research about it. For example, National Assembly is used a democratic system when making a decision. The decision that made by National Assembly was the best decision. Government is one of the agencies that ask the National Assembly to make a choice for them. It is because they have their own agendas to get through.
Government of the people, by the people, and for people is democracy. It is a notion of political equality based on the recognition that everyone, from the poorest to the wealthiest, has the same position. People are not subjecting to the rulers, but rulers themselves. As a result, democracy enhances a citizen's dignity. For example, in the year of 2019, then Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad advised the people, particularly the Malay community, to embrace possibilities around them rather than merely pushing the government to offer greater help to those impacted. This advice comes after he unveiled a 10-year economic strategy targeted at increasing Malay involvement in the industry and high-tech capabilities. The Malays have been left behind because they have failed to learn from history, where outsiders have been permitted to undertake dirty, hazardous and demanding work. This is due to the fact that we can only rely on people who are eager to work and earn money. We will delegate these tasks to strangers. We fall more behind as time passes. What's more, the service of HR recorded different victories and pleased accomplishments all through 2019 in raising the voice of the common laborers and making greater quality positions. To satisfy the guarantee of 1 million quality positions, a sum of 300,000 positions were made in 2018, while 243,000 positions were made until September last year. Moreover, the service is currently refreshing the modern agreement system (COC) rules with an end goal to upgrade the pride of laborers and guarantee the nature of security of laborers' privileges in the nation is comparable to global norms. Raising the pride of the working people and making greater quality among those guaranteed in the Pakatan Harapan Proclamation identified with this service just as the guarantee to build individuals' pay and make all the more lucrative positions for the offspring of Sabah and Sarawak. The accomplishment in 2019 was additionally contributed by the association of the Meet the Clients Day with the priests and agents pastors, which is held each Tuesday.
In conclusion, Malaysia democracy is a suitable form of government since it allows individuals to choose the type of government they want, unlike other forms of government, which make the government the most powerful entity. This one does not. Every decision or law implementation must be considered in advance with the YDPA and individuals concerned in verify that the law is appropriate or not with the society in a democratic system. For instance, the legislator will examine each submitted law and demand information and such modification. The democratic system has result in the establishment of a constitutional monarchy, which is a people-friendly administration. A constitutional monarchy is a system in which the king is the head of the state, but does not have complete power, because the king is the executive, not the constitutional head of the state. The YDPA will be chosen every 5 years during the Conference of Rules in Malaysia. Malaysia has been and continues to be a democratic country for millennia. As a result, Malaysia is considered one of the most socially involved countries in the world. Being a democratic country is difficult for the government since it must focus numerous parties in order to release any policy linked to the people will bring the country peace. People have grown acclimate to a democratic administration, making it simple for the government to protect the country from the power struggle that occurred in Myanmar. Malaysia also has a parliamentary system, which places some ministry under the control of the executive and legislative branch of government. Because they are linked, there is no major difference between the two bodies. This distinction is also made between the head of state and the head of government. The elected king is the head of state, while the prime minister is the head of government in charge of all government related matters.